Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is prime my face, and I'm using my Rimmel London Fix and Perfect primer, which is just an everyday face primer. So just rub that all over your skin, focusing on areas where you know you're probably most going to get oily, if you are an oily person. And this will just help to make sure that your foundation stays on your face if you're getting sweaty. Now I only take a little bit of primer at a time and work it in and then go back for more. That's just the way I've always done it. I know some people prefer to get all of it on their face really quickly and then blend it in. If you have your own personal style, it's not really an issue. Okay. Next thing is to take a foundation, obviously. I am using, well actually, I'm not using concealer in this video. If you were going to be using concealer, this is where you would put it on and you'd focus on your problem areas. So for me, that would generally be this area here where I've got, it's kind of hard to explain, but I've got, my pores have almost overlaid themselves, and I've got, they're not really pimples, but they're not blackheads either. They're just really deep, extended pores which go right back into my skin, and these are permanent. The only way I will be able to get rid of these is if I actually go to a dermatologist and get them, get those needles and extract them. So if I truly want to disguise these, I have to use fairly heavy concealer, and obviously at the moment you can obviously see I've got a fairly nasty looking pimple right here, which again, if I was putting on concealer, that's where I'd be going, but I'm not doing that, so I'm just going straight for my foundation. And I'm using my Australis Paparazzi Perfect HD foundation. I think you got massive reflection in there, but that's alright. And basically I'm just going to apply this to my back of my hand, and then, excuse me, I'm going to take a foundation brush and I'm just going to be blending it into my face. I tend to always just start at my cheeks and then work myself down. I always do the lower half of my face first. Again, it's just personal preference. It's got nothing to do with technique or anything. And then work it around under the chin, blend it down, and then start working up. So, nose, cheeks. For liquid foundations, you can also use the stippling technique, which you need a stippling brush for, but that's where you use lots of little dots and just sort of dot it into your face, and this gives a really airbrushed finish look. I'm not brilliant at it. I tend to always seem to have spots left on my face, so not using that one as a demonstration for you this time around. I still just prefer the good old-fashioned brusher on. I should mention that 9 times out of 10 when I'm doing my foundation, I will actually use my fingers. I love my fingers. I find they are the best tools. But because it's late in the day that I'm doing this tutorial and my hands are quite dirty, so I couldn't be bothered going back and doing huge amounts of sanitizing and then getting on and doing it that way, I figured I'll just do it with a brush. Okay, and that pretty much does the foundation. Now it's time for the powder. Now I'm using two powders. I'll be first of all using my pressed powder, and then I'll be using a translucent powder to set it. So the pressed powder I'm going to be using is my Revlon Color Stay pressed powder in medium. And taking just a powder brush. Mine's just a very cheap e.l.f. Well, it's not even e.l.f. It's a no-name brand from Big W, I think. So, and just get a little bit on, swirl it around on a little bit. You really don't need too much on because you've already got your foundation. So this is more just to take away any of that excess oil if you have any, and then just to massify it all up. As you can see, I'm actually quite rough. I know a lot of people say you need to be gentle. No, I don't know. I've never had any troubles putting it on quickly onto your face. If you're in a rush, it's what you got to do. Okay, now that powder's on, the only thing left to do is to put the translucent powder on. The only translucent powder I own/use is my Ben 9 Neutral Set because this thing is awesome. So that's what I'm using, funny enough. So just put a little bit into a cap and just use the same brush again, it's all good. Just put it in, swirl it around. You'll find that this is a very, very fine powder, so it does have a tendency to fly away. But basically just put it all over your face and your foundation, etc. will be set. And there you go. That is how I do my foundation routine for every day. Like I said, I didn't use concealer. If this was for a more special occasion, obviously I would. But yes, from there on I would then be going on and applying my blush, a little bit of contouring if I so desired, obviously, and the rest of my makeup. I do still have my eyes on from earlier at work today, but obviously if you were doing this for the beginning of the day, you would have had a clean slate and then be putting it on, and your lips, etc. But yes, I hope that made sense to you guys. If you do have any questions at all, please leave them below, or any suggestions. But yes, as always, thank you very much for watching. If you have any requests, make sure you let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch you next time. Bye!